Hello, episode 2 of the Cotched podcast with me, Joe Valek. I'm very excited to be back. Thank you very much for all the kind feedback on episode 1. I've listened and I'm going to keep improving it, and I'm so excited to be back. Can't wait to grow this project together. So again, please keep sending feedback and leaving comments and subscribing so it grows and I can make it as good as possible. Before we get stuck into today's episode, one or two announcements to make. First thing is that I'm raising some money for charity. I'm doing a triathlon on the 15th of September, the Cheltenham Sprint Distance Triathlon. I'm very excited. It's 800 meters swimming, 19 kilometers of cycling and 4.7 kilometers of running. I'm raising some money for the Link Blood Cancer Charity, LINC. It's for leukemia and other blood cancers. Very close to my target, my goal of money I want to raise. So any support you can give, that would be absolutely fantastic. If you're watching on YouTube, link down below. If you're listening elsewhere, you can find all the information you need on my Instagram page, which is at Joe Valek. So thank you in advance if you donate, but it would be much appreciated. And the second little announcement is you may notice that in these episodes I am not wearing any brands. If you are a clothing brand and you want to see me wearing your t-shirts or clothes in the podcast, please get in touch. And in the same note, if you are a trader or business or anything in Bristol or beyond and you want to sponsor the podcast, then please do get in touch. Today's guest is an amazing person. She's called Medis. She is a DJ, producer, tutor. She runs a nightclub as well. She's bar manager at Greenworks. She's all-round amazing, very busy person, very well connected throughout the dubstep and phonk scene in the UK. She's soon to be starting up her own record label called DVL6 Recordings. We actually spoke earlier in the year, but the video file got corrupted, so that interview never came out, unfortunately. So I thought, why not get her on nice and early to the Cotched podcast and have a nice long conversation together. In this episode, we talk about lots of things, from DJing, her record label, Outlook Festival, sleeping, flying, just living life. And there's some really great insights in there if you're trying to be an events promoter or you're just interested in DJing as a career. So without further ado, let's get into it. Enjoy. Thanks for coming here today. It's actually our second interview we've done, because we did one earlier in the year, right? And it got corrupted.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
So apologies, but I thought it's best to get you in nice and early so we can have a better conversation, because I think you seem like you've got a lot more to say in a comfortable space rather than at your place of work, trying to play a gig, trying to run an event at the same time.
I mean, I'm a jack of all trades, so.
So for people that don't know, what do you do?
I guess as Medis, I produce, I DJ, I also teach for Saffron. They're like a non-binary, female-led label. And then professionally, I manage a venue called Greenworks, and also bookings manager for CDR.
Busy. How do you juggle all that? What's like the rota like, your day to day, week to week?
I've definitely got the most chaotic. I'm very organized and I'm really organized, but at the same time super. If you were to have a peer into my life, you'd be like, this is chaotic, this is all over the place. I also do shoot photography as well, so there'll be days where I'll have a shoot in the morning and then I've got a lesson in the evening, so I prep for that at lunch, and then maybe I'm doing some other stuff to do with the venue between lunch and teaching, and then I'll do my music after I've finished teaching. But yeah, each day is different, and I'm a slave to my calendar basically.
So do you plan your weeks?
Plan my weeks, plan my months. Sometimes if I'm good, I'll plan my day.
Wow.
Just to be the most efficient as possible.
What does that look like? Literally sitting down, right? What are you going to do? What day of the week?
Well, say that this week is the last week of August. So I always get this kind of like anxiety around, like, because I don't know. Well, I do know what's coming. I've got another diary which is like all my dates for the year, but because I haven't got my month calendar up for next month yet, I'm like, oh, what's coming up next week? I don't know. Like, so on Sunday I'll write my month calendar, and I find that like really what's the word, kind of like calming and therapeutic. That's it. And I'll plan out my month, and then obviously it'll be the beginning of the week as well on the Sunday, so I'll plan out that week. Probably usually like when I'm doing the whole month thing, that'll be the week where like I'm really good and I'll plan every day as well. But yeah, and then pretty much every Sunday I've got so many, like, you know, like all the different types of notebooks and like schedule. I've got all of them. I've got absolutely everyone. Have you been to Tiger
Nightclub or
no,
Flying Tiger?
Flying Tiger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I always call it Tiger, but it's Flying Tiger.
Yeah, that's a great shop. I mean, it kind of stresses me out. I hate the way you're forced to walk around the whole shop. It's quite what's the word where you don't like small space? Claustrophobic. Yeah,
and it is very like forceful. Like you will see all of our stuff. Like.
You probably will want to buy something.
So I always leave with like 3 notebooks and like some sunglasses and like an item that has no use, but like I'm like, oh, this would be really useful for 3 minutes. But yeah, I have like just so many different notebooks. I have like notebooks and schedulers, because then in my notebook will be like I've got a notebook just for like throwaway thoughts, you know, like thoughts that I just have, and I'm like, I just need to like put that down. And then I've got like an official notebook which like official thought out thoughts have gone and have like been written down. And then I've got a notebook to write a daily list of like what I need to do, which obviously correlates with my schedule. But then I've also got a week, like a day schedule thing. So sometimes it depends, like I'll just use my notebook or my daily schedule. But this is what I mean, you can go so far down the hole, and I'm like all the way at the bottom right now.
It's impressive. There's levels to it, you know. It starts with a thought and then it turns into a plan. Because
like sometimes you think that the aimless thoughts one has no use, but it actually, I've gone to that
probably
book.
The most useful.
I've gone to that book so many times. Oh my god, I was gonna do that, or oh my god, like I wanted to speak to that person, or so yeah. I mean, and like when people like send me music as well on email, I feel like some people must think I'm a weirdo, because like I'll reply to the email, but oh, thank you, I'll check this soon. And then I have a day, like usually towards the end of the month, where I'll go through all my music. But sometimes it might lead on to like the next month. But I will always make sure like I come back to every email that I get sent. But sometimes it might be 2 months, and I'll be like, oh my god, this is the best tune ever, like proper gassing it up. And they're like, mate, I sent you this like 2 months ago.
Yeah, it's been released for like 3 months now. It's number 1 on iTunes report or whatever.
But yeah, it's just the way that I've like formulated how to work and to juggle like so many things. I have thought a few times like, oh, I do still want the idea of doing less, as in like having one main thing that I just do, sounds alright, but then I just know myself, I get really like frustrated if I'm like spending too much time on one, or putting too much energy into like one thing. I get really like tunnel vision, and like I just feel closed off. Like whereas like when I'm dipping into like loads of different things, they all kind of like feed off each other.
Sounds like you like organization, but if it was too regimented, you wouldn't like that. You need some sort of pattern. Yeah,
like so like organization. Like I had an office job, like doing marketing for like a summer, and like I can use all my organizational skills there, but then it just feels really tiresome and repetitive. And then I'm like, well, I know what's coming. What's the point in planning it? Because I know what I'm doing next week, because it's the same as last week, and it's just like the same thing. And I don't know. I've tried those types of jobs, and it's never lasted longer than like 3 months. I'm just literally like pulling my hair out, like this is so boring. Like, so yeah, I think weirdly I thrive off doing like being burnt out. that is how I thrive. Yeah.
How's your sleep like as a nightclub person? Also, I forgot to put on this light behind me. Hold on. We need some colour in here.
Need some ambience.
Really?
Oh.
I think we might have a bit of maybe. Say when.
Ooh,
Maybe reds.
Orange or red was quite nice.
All right, let's go back round.
Brings a bit
Is
of
that
warmth.
red?
That's pink. Yeah.
Orange. Should we go orange?
Yeah.
Let's go orange. I don't know if that even makes any difference on the camera, but it's the ambience in here, you know, that's what we're going for. Anyway, so yeah, how's your sleep? Because you must be up late working in a nightclub.
Yeah, I mean, on a weekend, like I'm up till like, well, finish at 5 or maybe 6, probably in bed, sleeping at like 7 or 8 a.m. And then and that's like Friday, Saturday night. Then Sunday, I always go for a roast with my mates.
Nice.
I've got my radio show on Sunday as well. And then Monday, I kind of like flip it. Like I'll like switch my sleep cycle, and I'll wake up at like, I always aim for 8:30, but it always ends up being 9:30. Do all my like venue admin stuff, and then the next day I'll wake up even earlier. That'll be the day that I actually wake up at 8:30, and then I'll be at 8:30 until Friday day. I'll sleep in for as long as possible, because obviously I'm going to be up till 5 a.m. And yeah, like some weeks it's like if I really stick to it, if I get up on that Monday at 9:30, I will, like, it will be fine. But like sometimes it doesn't always happen like that. So there's some recently I go through stages really. Like sometimes like I'm up during the week till like 3-4 a.m. still. Like recently I'd say that it's been like that, but I think it's just because like working on this label stuff and starting new thing. When I'm like starting something new, I'm like quite
hard
obsessed.
to switch off, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm quite obsessed about it, and like I just want to get it done. So then I just don't really sleep, because I still need to, like, there's certain things I need to get done in the day which require normal working hours. It does kind of annoy me though. I'm kind of like, I feel like my sweet spot, if I had it my way, would be like wake up at 10, start working at like 11 or 12 or like 12. Then I usually like have a break at like 6 p.m, eat or something, and I'll continue working until like 10 p.m, 11 p.m. And that's like 6 to 11 p.m. That's like those are my golden hours. I get like the most done in that time, but the rest, like obviously sending emails and trying to like lock in deals and stuff like that, you can't really get done past 6 p.m. But I am ready.
And the irony is all those people that you're talking to are also probably in the same boat, and they're just also sticking to the guidelines and the rules of when you should send emails to people.
Yeah, we're all just like forcing ourselves to like adhere to this like 9 to 5 thing. And yeah, it's quite jarring. But sometimes there was a period a couple months ago where I was waking up at like 7, like 7:30, which like it felt nice to see the morning, but like not that nice. Like it'd always hit like 2 p.m. and I'd be like, oh man, the day is over. The day is over for me.
Yeah, I feel like, because I get up quite early for work. Well, I start work at 9, but the mornings are all right. I get a fair bit of work done in the morning, and then I usually have a lull around like after lunch for maybe an hour, around 2ish or something. I drop down and stop losing motivation. Then from like 3 to 4, I'm like chaotic working, like, oh my God, I can do so many things now. And then obviously I finish work at 5:30 or whatever. And then if I keep going, if I keep doing like my other stuff after work, again, like I find I get loads done after the work hours as well. But then if I do that, I find it's so hard for me to then go to bed.
Go
to like switch off. Because if I'm like doing podcast stuff or interview stuff in the evening, planning whatever I might be doing, editing, anything like that, then like my brain's still in work mode. And then if I try and go to bed, say at like 11, let's say, and I've been working till 9, my brain is still thinking. And as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm thinking of all these other new ideas and, oh, I should do that tomorrow or this and that. And then more time I just forget all those thoughts anyway because I'm like about to go to sleep. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know about you. Like, are you the type of person that like you'll go from doing work stuff like in your room or whatever, and then you'll just go to bed? Or do you have to have like, because I have to watch
I try and
something.
Like unwind, with maybe a bit of a YouTube video, a bit of TV, or read a book or something.
Well, yeah, because I was like used to be dating this guy who he works really, like one of the only people that has like matched my work ethic. But then like he just go to sleep, like he just finishes work and then just go to sleep, just like out cold.
That's crazy.
Like, and he didn't even have no trouble with it. He was just cold. Gone. And I was like, I'd always, and it did encourage me to like do it more, but like I don't know, there's something I need, but it feels really what's the word, dystopian to like be like, but I need to watch a screen before I go to bed. Like it shouldn't really be the way, but
he probably was on a screen anyway though. He was just doing something productive on it.
Well, like he'll be like doing because he was like a construction like site person, doing like construction paperwork ads,
whatever
stuff,
they do,
whatever. Like looks like, you know, architect type plan stuff, and which is like pretty heavy work, and then just close his laptop, get in bed, and being asleep within 10 minutes.
That's mad.
Like out cold.
I got a friend who says that one of his favourite things to help him sleep is he'll just go on Ableton on his laptop in bed and try and make a beat and then he'll just often wake up and his laptop will still be there, like the loop's still going or something, you know, and he'll wake the laptop up and this loop is still going. He's just falling asleep making a beat, which I don't personally think is very healthy, but he said most of the time as well they're not very good beats, but it helps him sleep.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've fallen asleep before, like, sorting out tunes on my laptop. Like, because again, being organised, like, I get really angst if I know that all my music's not, like, but now it's like, really tiresome, because, like, before, when I was a kid, it's like, I only use YouTube, so it's just my YouTube playlist that I need to, like, sort out. Now, like, I use YouTube, I use Spotify, I've got like my DJ, like my record box tunes. I've got like my iTunes tunes. It's just like all these different playlists. It's like a lot of admin to like keep it.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up. I often save tunes on Spotify that I want to DJ out. And then when I'm preparing for a set, I'll forget all about them completely. And then I'll listen to the playlist and like, oh yeah, I want to play that tune out. And then the cycle repeats that I just always forget about like these tunes on SoundCloud or these tunes on Spotify. Because I'm looking on Beatport or Bandcamp or something else.
Yeah.
Where do you find music?
I'd say like it is usually if I'm having a digging day, then like probably start with listening to a bit of NTS. Maybe like obviously because their track list can be a bit hit or miss, but if it is one with a track list, start with like a song that I've heard that I like that I don't already know. Use that either artist name or label that they're affiliated with as my starting point on most likely Bandcamp, and then I'll go through like a ghost and I'll see where Bandcamp takes me. Obviously, I think we all know that Bandcamp's website is just not the best.
It's hard to find things on there.
It's just hard to find things. I feel like
the genres aren't very intuitive.
No, and I also feel like it's a bit like YouTube in that once you've got recommended a few things, it'll just keep recommending you that all the time. It's like, yes, I know that tune, you keep recommending it to me. And yeah, so it's hard to like find a rhythm with Bandcamp, but you can, it's like with determination you can get there. And then I've got a Spotify playlist for music that I want. That's usually like towards the end of the process, because usually if I've liked it on Spotify, I 100% want this tune, and then I'll just type the tune into Google, and then wherever you can buy it,
just write buy after it.
yeah Apple Music, Amazon Music, somewhere else that sells music as well. Beatport. I rarely use Beatport. I would say that was like the most least used. I use fair. Apple Music more than.
Really, I like Beatport.
I mean, what kind of stuff are you buying on there?
Like 140 maybe, or and I try and go Bandcamp first. If it's not there, then I go to Beatport. And
Beatport, I always find they charge bare for their songs.
Yeah, that's true. You have to pay more for WAVs or AVs. But I just buy MP3s because I'm cheapskate.
I just feel like it has some people, but it's missing a lot.
That's true. It's a bigger people. I think a lot of like stuff that's on a label, but independent stuff is usually Bandcamp. Or there's one, Bloop. Have you ever used Bloop?
No.
That's been like a last resort. That sometimes it comes up like fourth down. It's like, what is this website? And it's got some like not weird stuff, but just stuff that's not really for sale anywhere else. And it's like, oh, it's on this website. How did it even get there? I don't know who put this there, or iTunes. But I don't really like buying.
Or sometimes iTunes. When it will like when it's like a song off Spotify, and then it'll be like a free download on SoundCloud. I love that.
That's
or like
nice.
You gotta like their page or something, and then you get a free download. I'm like that.
It's always fun. A bit cringe when you're on like when you're on one of those sprees and you've got to like repost the track or something.
Yeah.
You look back on your repost like, right, let me just unrepost this so everyone doesn't know where I'm getting my music from.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's definitely and sometimes if it's not going, if I'm not having too much luck, I'll go down the Discogs route. Which again, obviously you're gonna hit a lot of like dead ends because it's vinyl releases. I'd say 50% of which are only released on vinyl, but you can find some really, really good like hidden gems like that they've also released it digitally through doing that. So yeah, I usually have like minimum like 5 tabs open at a time, and then that's like a minimum because I'll have other songs and like different routes I can potentially be going down. But it takes like a digging day is like not like to treat myself, but if I'm like actually, if I would to say how much time I would actually want to like get, or like if I'm preparing for a big set and I need a lot of new music, it'd be multiple digging days within that month before the set. Yeah, a lot of digging.
Do you get new music every set you play? Like how often should you be updating your what do you think anyway?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a hard one. I think obviously
it gets expensive as well, especially if you're not getting paid for your
sets.
I
used to play vinyl, so like moving from vinyl to digital, I think I've always got an element of like, oh yeah, but like for me paying $4.50 for an EP is absolutely nothing compared to, I used to buy a £25 EP just for one song.
Wow.
Just knowing that I hate everything else on it. I just want that one song, and in my head, and still now I've still got records, like in like back at my house that like I'm on the fence about selling, but I'm like, yeah, but it's got that one tune that's like really good. So yeah, I mean, I try to not think about the money element too much, but yeah, I guess like. I think it's important for me anyway as a DJ, because when you're just playing the same stuff over and over again, like I'm not going to have that much fun. Like it's just like, oh, I'll just put that out there, put this in there. But sometimes there are certain songs that I love to play that I get self-conscious about and playing them too much.
Yeah, for sure.
But then I feel like when I have all these thoughts, it's not like I'm DJ EZ or like Nefertiti and people are coming to see me like regularly.
Yeah,
and
most
like,
people have probably never seen you before, or if they have, it hasn't been for at least 6 months.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're not like.
Or maybe not. I'm not saying that.
No,
you don't have super
yeah.
fans, Medis. I'm sure you do, but.
But like say like back when I used to go out and generally, one of my mates, like he's a proper music nerd, doesn't do music himself, but like he'd always be the guy to be like, I heard that set 3 months ago, he did the same exact set, and I'm like, oh my god, like I was like, I didn't even know, and I'm meant to be the one doing music. I could even tell. But I think if you're a big DJ, people want to hear that.
I guess they send you people send you music as well.
People send you music.
Do you get a lot of crap, or do you get a lot of good stuff?
I mean,
and no disrespect for people that are sending you music.
It's objective, right? Like,
yeah.
I think people send me. There's quite a few people who send me stuff that isn't my taste. I can appreciate it fully. Like, I think it's well produced, well made, would fit for a DJ who plays that kind of sound. But yeah, I do get a lot of people sending tunes just because I play dubstep, and I play quite a particular type of dubstep, and I'm quite anal about that. So like if it's just not that sound, I'm just, no matter if I think it's a great song, I might play it at a house party or something, but I'm probably not going to play
Download it for personal use.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I always try and like reply. Well, I always do reply to emails, and like, and if I am going to play it out, I'll probably do like, I'll play this out at this set or that set. But yeah, I'm always grateful. I'm grateful for people sending me music, because starting to like send music out myself, like it's like not daunting, but like it's a little bit like nerve-wracking, because like you want people to like it, even if they don't play it. I'd like to think people hear it and are like, oh, this is good. So if I can give any feedback, like I try and do that.
For sure. I've got those tunes in my playlist that I gravitate towards as well, and I feel like I always think it's time to update if I'm mixing at home or playing out or whatever, and I'm kind of going through the playlist like, oh, I don't want to play that because I feel like I play that a lot, or I want, and I'm maybe I'm starting picking tunes I don't know as much. It's like, well, I need to not know as much but play as much. I need to update the playlist now with new tunes, which I try and do regularly, but there's always those tunes that I see it when I'm playing out, and I'm like, ooh, I want to play that, but I'm like, I kind of played that last month, and I've been mixing that at home a lot. Maybe I shouldn't play that. And then later in the set, I find sometimes you go back to it, and because you just know it's a banger, and if you need to pull up on it, then just pull up on it, and people go nuts every time. You know, there's those tunes that you've got. Yeah,
and I also feel like, because like a reason that like I get quite sentimental over certain tunes, or like want to include them in so many of my sets, is again with like trying to present a sound rather. I mean, obviously I do fit into a genre, but it's more the sound aesthetic that I'm concerned about, and not playing a set full of my own tunes. It's hard to control that, because if you're just playing loads of different people's tunes, everyone's got a slightly different sound. So I feel like what's next for me, or what I want to start building on, is producing my own music that's suitable for clubs, so that I'm fully in control of the sound all the time. And once you're in the flow of like, I mean, because I do make a lot of music, but just not club music. But yeah, I think I'm there now, where I'm like, okay, let's try and tackle like the club type stuff. But I think that's where the real like elevation comes from, because every set that, or like artists that I love to watch, like Ivy Lab, are just like if Ivy Lab ever watch this, then I love you guys. They're literally like just goals for everything, like their sound aesthetic, their visual aesthetic, them as people. I just think like, yeah, but that's only achieved because there's such amazing producers, and so they can kind of go across all genres, but you always know it's like an Ivy Lab tune.
Yeah, you do when you hear it.
and so that's kind of like, and also like if Ivy Lab played one of the most well-known tunes, you're going to rate it because that's Ivy Lab playing one of their most well-known tunes, whereas I play one of their most well-known tunes again and again and again. People are like, can you get some
get
more?
over it?
Yeah. Get some
we
more
get
tunes. Although I probably will fit in a Ivy Lab tune into every one of my sets. That is the most consistent person. Them or Lemsy Dale. Those are the two artists I plug the most.
I've got a few Lemsleys that I like to draw upon every now and then.
Yeah.
So usually to change the vibe, because his like stuff is kind of a bit more chill sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, from really heavy, just like play something like quite stripped back, or at least the tunes that I tend to go for a bit more relaxed, still 140 tempo, but maybe a bit more like a old school hip hop type of beat, or just something a bit different, and it always switches up the vibe and catches, especially if you've got an MC. They always like say, oh, I like this tune, this is a different vibe, and then you go back to something really heavy again and they're still happy about it, but it's all that contrast. I think the best person I saw live that had a like a real sound that was very like succinct was Marla. I saw him at Love Saves last year, and he could have basically been playing like one tune, because it was all so it didn't sound like he was playing the same tune, but like the drops were all like, the bass sounds were all like really similar, but the drops were different, and all the like breaks and build-ups were just like such euphoric and similar
was
sounds.
this when it was like it wasn't too busy?
It was quite busy. It was at the transmission stage.
Like late at night?
Nah, it was like 7 or 8 at night.
But it was darkish.
It was getting dark. Yeah.
I think I was there.
But it was just, and it was loud. It was fucking,
yeah.
loud. I couldn't believe how loud it was. For outside, because at festivals, it never feels that loud, because it's kind of the sound.
Day festivals especially,
goes, it doesn't bounce off things like it does in a club, especially like somewhere like Cozy's or a small room. The sound vibrates around a lot, so it feels really loud. But like festivals, I find it can feel a bit underwhelming. But that, I was like, it was like you could get blown away, literally. Like it could knock you over when it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting that you say Malo, because like, I think he's one of the artists or DJs that I have criticised their sets a lot.
Oh, really?
Just in terms of like, I think he's like the dad of like dubstep and like is an amazing like producer, curator, everything. But sets wise, he definitely has been going through, and the whole dubstep scene has been going through another mid-range resurgence, which is like fine, and that's what everyone wants. I'm outnumbered. I'm sure if anyone is watching this, they're probably like, what's she talking about? I love like Hamdi. But yeah, it's just really not for me. I just really can't get on board. And because he and I always respected Malo for being the deeper side, the more subby, like meditative side of dubstep. And then he started doing mid-range dubstep, and I was like, bro, like I was really relying on you there to like bring bring like the deeper stuff. But again, no, from an artist perspective, I'm sure like 10 years or 15 years of playing just sub bass deep dubstep, you're gonna be a bit like, well, I'm bored
trying to mix it up.
So I still respect it. Just hasn't been for me in the previous years, although was really, and like I've got to this point where I will probably not, if Malo's playing somewhere, I'm not gonna go. Like I don't. But he was playing at Outlook Croatia, and he was after Komodo. Komodo's set was like insane, and I think he was clashing with someone else. I can't remember who, but me and my mates were like, "Oh, should we watch a bit of Malo?" And I was like, oh, like if you have to, like I watch a bit of Malo. And it was amazing set. It was really, really, really good. It was like, I think it was the deeper stuff, a little bit of like tasteful mid-range cheekiness, but like not just like in your face. One of the best sets that I've seen him do. So yeah, he's back into my good books, but I think again, just through personal taste, like just hasn't really been doing it for me the past couple of years. And as my mate pointed out, he plays the same. He'll play the same set. Like if he's playing like around like in the same like 2-month period, because once he said that, I kind of clocked it. He will play pretty much an identical set. So
that's good if it's a good set and you want to see it again.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
so good
yeah.
if you didn't like it the first
and
time.
also, I feel like we're both giving him a hard time because we go and see him like in Leeds, then in Manchester, then in London. So it's just like, well, it's a bit different if you're playing the same venue, same place, same set. But I feel like I have definitely, if I'm playing like within the same month, I'll probably play the same set like in London as I do in Bristol, and like because
it's a good set. You don't want to waste it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah, it's good. Not because I'm
People
lazy.
deserve to hear it. Yeah. I was going to ask you about Croatia actually and Outlook, because it was the first time you'd been abroad, right?
It was.
So how was the flight?
The flight. Well, so I had actually been to Ireland the week before, or 2 weeks before, with work. I didn't have my passport yet though, so I just went with like my provisional license. Got so many dirty looks in the airport. Like I feel like they thought I was smuggling someone. Like, you know, each bit they were like, "Oh, can we see your passport?" Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to Ireland. And they're like, this one woman, she literally just like, oh. I was like, it's legal. I checked online. I can travel. So that flight, I was literally like next to the window, like just had my eyes out the window the entire time. It was pretty short as well. It was like half an hour. Then going to Croatia, similarly, it was like it's just like cool to like go on a new flight, and like it was a bit of a longer flight, which I'm sure the novelty will wear off very soon.
But you enjoyed it.
But yeah, and it was like a 2-hour flight.
So you're not scared of heights. That's not why you hadn't been abroad before. No,
I'm definitely not scared of heights. If anything, I'm a fan of heights. But yeah, what
surprised you?
I think because I obviously I knew it was going to be hotter, and and a lot of people have said like, oh, it's like a heat abroad is different to UK heat, but I never really understood like what that means. And like I get it because it's like it's so hot, but like it was like 35 degrees or whatever. But then I was like, if this was 35 degrees in England, I would not have even stepped out. Yeah, I would melt. So it's like hot, but like
it's manageable,
but still very hot. But like manageable at the same time.
How was the festival?
Festival was like, one of the best I've been to, aside from Glastonbury in the past couple years. Programming was just really on point. And it was actually quite small. I don't know if have you been to Outlook?
I have not.
So this is apparently, it's in Tisno now. It used to be in Pula, and this is apparently the original site it started on. It's quite small. Like there's only two proper stages, one like quite small stage. Oh no, three bigger stages and then one smaller stage. I can't really just like compare it to something that's well known. Like the site was smaller than Love Saves the Day site.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
But you've got boat parties. How does that work? Like, how does it work? I've always been kind of confused because in the UK, if you go into a festival, you stay in the festival until it's over.
So this is the most confusing thing that I found as well, because like obviously planning to go there, people are like, oh yeah, we're staying in hotels. I'm like, hotel, and like, but it's like, oh, everyone does. That's what everyone does. But I actually ended up staying on site anyway, which I still will stand my ground on. That it is the best option.
You camped?
No, I've got a mobile home.
Oh.
Just didn't sleep, just walking around like waiting. Got a mobile home.
Nice.
Which I think if we would have booked it, well, we got a cube room actually, and then the step up is a mobile home, which were just like behind us.
What's a cube room?
So a cube
Sounds
room,
a bit suspicious.
it's like maybe just a bit bigger than this room. It's just like a studio flat.
Right, okay.
It's just only got a little kitchenette.
On site?
On site.
That's mad.
Yeah. Got a little fridge.
Was it in like a shipping container or something? Or
No,
the
it was
site
actually
have buildings in it?
No, it was quite nice. Like, it's like a little wooden thing. It had like,
cool.
you had like a little wooden veranda.
Nice.
With some like chairs and stuff. Like, I feel like, because it was one of the, like, me and my mate who were trying to suss out if we made the right decision. And like, so my other mates stayed in an apartment on site, and that was quite a bit more expensive than getting a cube room. And we were like, oh, I don't know, should we have got the apartment? Went to the apartment, dead. Like, it was just like the cube room with we didn't have any like cooking stuff. We just had like a fridge and a kettle.
Yeah.
But it had like a hob in the apartment, and then like a little bit of space, a bit more space around the kitchen area, but like definitely not worth an extra 350 quid.
Right. Were you an artist? Were you playing?
I was playing.
Does that affect how you're treated then? Did you get an artist pass? Did you still have to pay for all this stuff, or what? 'Cause a lot of people go who are also artists, don't they, to Outlook?
Yeah.
So they make no money if they just gave it for free to everyone.
Yeah. Outlook covered my travel and accommodation, but it was up to me to book it. So I could have probably got something cheaper or camped or something like that and made money off the money that they gave me, but I chose to just spend all of it on just getting somewhere nice, which I still think that was the right decision.
So you'd go again?
Yeah, 100%. And like, I was a bit of, I guess you could call it diva. Like, before going to Outlook, I've always been like, oh, I'm not going to Outlook unless they book me. And just because, I don't know, I just kind of like felt like, oh, like it's just going to be a festival like any other festival, and I deserve to get booked or whatever. But like now going and like being there, like it's such a nice, because it's quite small. It's like you feel the community vibes. You bump into so many people. I would pay to go. Yeah, I would pay to go, and I haven't paid to go to a festival since I was like 15 or 16.
Nice.
So like that's one of the festivals that I would pay to go to. Although Outlook, if you're listening, I would like to play again. So if I don't have to pay, that would be great.
And if you're listening, I would like to come and do interviews there, because that'd be great if you could fund that. Me and a camera person.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But yeah, it's like it's kind of like, and like what have you ever been to a festival abroad at all?
Nah.
So if you ever do, like, basically you can't go with an English mindset, because on the first day I went for the whole thing. On Thursday, I got absolutely clotted. Like, just I drank like half a litre of Patron, and then
strong start.
Yeah, just like, but you know, like say you go to Boomtown, like you're getting fucked up every day. Like every day you're going in, and it's fine because like it's kind of cold as well, so you need that like alcohol to keep you warm, and I don't know, it's just different. But then waking up with a half a litre hangover in like 35-degree heat and trying to get through your next day, it's just so unnecessary as well, because it's like such a beautiful sight, and like the water's beautiful, everything's so nice. You just like, I don't want to feel like this.
Yeah.
Like there's just no need. So from there we kind of like took it more easy. But yeah, it's the type of thing where like I think if I go again next year, I'll stay. I'll come before, like maybe like 4 days before, have a bit of a holiday vibe then.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like holiday plus vibes, because it's like holiday, because you can easily go into the city centre and like frolic about and do whatever. It's like a holiday plus all your extended friendship network, like people that you never that you probably see in the rave, like, oh yeah, but then you now got this opportunity where you're all just like listening to all your favorite music
abroad by the sea on a boat.
Yeah, so
that's sick.
it's just really nice vibes, and it's just really easy to like, you can go in if you want. I wouldn't recommend it, or you can just take it pretty easy and have like a really great time and come back like really refreshed.
That's nice.
No,
I'm going to just pull out my book a second, because there was some questions that maybe a question or two that I asked you when we interviewed you before that I wanted to revisit. So let's just have a look. So we've spoken about Outlook already. Yes, this is it. So I'll read the question as it's written. So you've lived, worked, breathed events for many years, from Whirly Festival, Dub Cult, Roll Up, Area Code. You manage Cozies, manage Greenworks. What are your tips for budding promoters or people who want to work in events?
Where did you find the Whirly gig thing?
I can't remember, to be honest with you, off the top of my head.
That is
somewhere
it's
online.
That is a very like deep fact. But yeah, I guess tips. Don't do anything half-assed, definitely. I think, and also, if you're just starting out, then like, obviously, like, you want to make profit on stuff, and that's everyone's aim, but don't get too tied down about the numbers and the fact that most likely, I'd say 90% of the time, you're not going to make money out of your first couple of events. If you do, then like, great. But if you don't, I think what to be most concerned about is the vibe. Like, have you created a good vibe? Have you treated your artist well? Have your artist had a good time? And yeah, just being like, I guess, I don't want to say crafty, but like creative with how you can stack lineups and how you can like complement, like use artists to complement each other. Obviously, artist fees are like always a hot topic, but I find that like most people, if you're honest and transparent and you just kind of put your cards out on the table, most other artists who are into music as much as you are kind of respect that and will, can like fit into your budget if they're able to. But yeah, and also just don't take anything personally. Like because like there has been people, I mean, I got called out once which is funny because I am obviously a girl and work for Saffron. I got called out for doing male only lineups, which, like, to be fair, I can see it being a fair call in. I did feel like it was like a cozies night where there was only 3 DJs, so it's like I've only got like I guess I've up until that point I didn't ever second guess. Like it's always about the sound and that people complement each other. Gender never really came into it. And then when I got called up on that, I was kind of like, well, I am a girl running it, so that kind of, I've already automatically cancelled myself out of that. But yeah, I think visibility is really important, and from that point I've always gone in with the energy of like, I will try every female that I think would fit first, like they take priority if you like, but if they're not available, I'm not just gonna go and find any girl that will just fill the spot just for visibility's sake. I think that
you don't want it just to be a box ticking exercise.
No.
I'm sure the artists don't want, as a girl, you don't want that either.
No,
you don't want to get booked just
I feel like it has a bad effect on everyone. Like, yeah, the artists themselves, the night won't feel as cohesive. Certain people will probably look at it and know that that's exactly what you're doing. So like, I think, yeah, it's a tricky one because especially in the genres that I mainly like promote, like grime, dubstep, they're phonk. They're notoriously known for like having no women. And I always also find that a lot of women artists, it's either like you're quite underground, or you're quite small, or you're really big and you're really huge. And like through a lot of girls that I know, like, and I think this is a big reason why girls are doing like arguably better, or whatever people are saying, like, are doing well in the scene right now, is because women know what they want and what they're worth. And like they're a lot more business minded than boys. Like I find like some even big, like huge DJs I've booked, I like give it enough like gift of the gab, like they're like, oh yeah, go on then, but if there's a Guinness there, I'll be there. Whereas like girls, like they want to know their fee, they want their rider like confirmed, they want their travel, they want everything there, which is like, I respect it, because like they're not take no. They're not hanging around with like time wasters or like half timers. Like they have an avenue and they're doing it. So yeah, I respect it, but it makes it quite difficult sometimes booking certain females, because I'm like, oh man, like I'm not like this big in like industry, I'm not like this big company, I'm just me, and like it'd be nice if you could play, but if you don't want to, that's fine. I completely get it, your career takes foremost. So yeah, I guess just like, big up women. They are definitely they like pushing their way through the scene and like putting in a lot of work. I just find guys are a lot more like laid back about it, and probably to their own detriment, but it works in my favour. So
for sure. Do you think you've got to work twice as hard?
I feel like, I mean, everyone probably feels this, because that's the nature of like living your own life and having your own perception. You're like, oh, I'm the hardest worker, I'm this, I'm that. But I feel like, because I don't fit into like a box of like, I'm not, and I don't like any of these boxes that I'm going to name. I'm not discrediting them. I'm just saying that they're boxes that exist. I'm not like a pretty girl who like dances and like brings those energy to the set. I'm not a super technical Nefertiti DJ where like technically what I'm doing is just, I'm absolutely amazing. I'm just kind of like, I'm quite low key as a person, and I don't like to, I just love music, and I've kind of ridden on the fact that like, I think that my music taste is quite sick. So
you've got to believe that. You've got to be a bit delusional that you've got the best music out there.
So part of that is just kind of like, I'll just let the music speak for itself. I think less, in my experience, I've struggled less with being a musician or maybe producing. There's been more so from my side of like not having all my guy mates be really sick producers already. It's kind of a daunting thing to like show you my kind of crummy tune when I know that it's not to your level, you know that. And so like just with like boisterous energy, and like sometimes I've been in rooms where like people like my old housemate he can just like whap out a tune like no one's business, and there'll be like MCs in the room and he's just like confidently like, let's lay over this verse or whatever. I don't have the confidence in those environments to kind of be like, let me just do this thing. But if I'm on my own, then I can kind of do it. But I would say professionally, like venue managing, that definitely came. Initially, didn't realize how much. I think also like I'm 25 years old. I've got a young face. I'm a girl, so for some promoters, when you're like a 40-year-old man, I can see why the dynamic might feel quite jarring for those types of people to want to have to listen to me. So I felt in those kind of situations, I've had to like put on my mean face a bit more. And yeah, I mean, everyone usually gets it by the end of the conversation. They know that, yeah, I'm not about bullshit, really.
Don't fuck with Medis.
Yeah. I'm nice until I'm not nice. That's what I always say. I'm a really nice person until I'm not. So just don't get me to the not phase. But yeah, I think mainly it's just been like properly working in the industry around other industry people or promoters who generally, and I think it's more the age than, that's what I'd like to tell myself anyway. I think it's more the age thing rather than a girl thing. Because I think if I was like a 40-year-old woman, they'd be a bit more, oh, she knows what she's talking about. I think it's just, yeah, I've got a baby face, I'm young. And they're like, oh, I've literally had promoters being like, I'm not having this young girl tell me what to, I'm like, well, I'll turn your sound off then. And then like, they're like, oh. It's like, yeah, cool.
That's a good attitude to have though. Like, that you're not trying to blame things on where you come from or who you are as a person. You're just kind of getting on with it and not letting that stop you, I think, which is a good approach, good attitude to have.
Yeah, I think everyone has their things.
Not like pity me,
Yeah, no, I think
that's not a bad thing either. But
no, for sure. And there's definitely a need to like, all the women and like people who are fighting for their cause and wanting more diversity in the scene. I think it's definitely still needed. I just think in my experience, I guess I don't know. It's a kind of a safe. It's like to keep my brain safe. I don't let myself go to that point and think that's why. I'd like to give people the benefit of the doubt and just think you're having a bad day, or like, you don't like the way I'm talking to you because it's too direct or whatever. And I think everyone has their, like, some people are doing better than me because they naturally are more socially inclined, or they're naturally more like this. I'm where I'm
just
at.
In the right place at the right time.
Yeah. I'm just like where I'm at because of who I am, and like there's still a lot to be done. And I don't feel there's any barriers in front of me. I just think it's a matter of like getting my head down and doing it, really.
That's good. Really good attitude. Quick break for cake. So you may remember on the last one we had some home baked goods. However, we've been camping, so we didn't have time to bake any goods. So we've got a Madeline.
My mum's called Madeline,
Is it?
Yeah.
That's a nice name.
Yeah.
Madeline. What's the relevance to that in your family? Is your real name Marley?
My real name is Marley. Yeah.
It's a cool name.
Yeah. My parents smoked weed, so that was kind of all. Actually, the story of how I was named is like they. I think probably because, especially my dad would have been too high. They didn't name me. I think there's like a period in which you've got to be named as a child.
I think you got like 2 months or something.
Yeah, I think that's
quite a long time.
Yeah, and it's been like 2 or 3 months, and so like the government came round and they were like knocked on the door and they're like,
what's this child?
Yeah, like what's the child called? And then like my dad like literally, I think he said like Bob Marley was playing, and he literally just on the spot without my mum's permission and like just was like, Marley.
What's her name?
Marley. Her name was Marley.
Like, and that was it, and it just stuck. So
meant to be. Was your mum pissed?
No, she's too. Yeah, she was probably just like, yeah, whatever. They're very laid back parents. But yeah, my mum's one of 13.
Whoa.
Yeah.
13. Wow.
Yeah,
you've got a lot of cousins.
Oh, the cousins thing, man, like that is just, it's kind of like to the point of it where it's annoying, where like random family occasions or just things, actually random times where I'll come into contact with my cousin, and like I almost want to put air quotes because it's like I've met so many cousins to the point that it's like, and like aunties will like put us, like my auntie, she'll like, there was one time there's 4 or 5 of us, never met before, all from different brothers or like aunties and uncles. She put us in and was like, yeah, you're all blood related. You'll get on great, and then just left us. And like, we were all completely different like people, and we're all like looking at each other like, I don't know you, like, and like, now we have to get on because like I don't even like, and it was like uncles and aunties that don't really mix either. So like I don't even know anything about your mum. You don't know anything about mine.
Yeah.
It was just a bit awkward.
Sounds like the start of like a bad movie or something, you know, or like a premise for a book. Like 5 strangers who are all blood related left in a room, and there's only one way out. And something, I don't know exactly what the plot would be, but yeah, sometimes I think I've got a big family, and then I speak to someone like you with like hundreds of 13 aunts and uncles. Like I can't even begin.
There's a Facebook group, and
imagine.
There's like 70 or 80 people in the Facebook group. Wow. My auntie's like determined to have this like family road trip, and I'm like, that would be terrible. That would be so bad. That'd be the worst idea ever. But yeah, my mum's from like a very strict Catholic family, so contraception wasn't a thing. It just kept coming out.
I didn't mind about the sex, just the contraception. That's the problem. I suppose if you're married, then there's no stopping you, is there?
I know.
You go out like rabbits. I was going to say about that. Was it quite like a maternal, like a matriarchy of family, or more of a man-led family? Because I was just up at my mum's side of the family, and I always think it's quite a matriarchal family, you know, grandma, aunt and mum.
Never heard that word, matriarchal.
No? Maybe
No.
I've made that up.
I mean, I love it. I think it's a great word. I know what you mean.
I think it's a matriarchy. That's a word they would use for I think in maybe orphanage or boarding school, maybe you'd be like the matriarch is like the head, and same in the hospital. Again, my mum's a nurse, and the matron, I think, is the head nurse or the top sister. I can't remember exactly. Maybe I'm just bullshitting. But anyway, so my mum's side of the family quite matriarchal. Like, yeah, when you get my mum, my aunt, my grandmother, and my cousin Izzy, and we're in a room. So there's like those 4, and then there's like my cousin's boyfriend, my uncle, me, my grandpa. The men are we're just kind of quiet, and you know, we're there, they're talking, they're leading the conversation, they're saying like, oh, can you do this, or you know, they're very much like in charge, which is nice. I like that. I'd say so. Like I have 5 brothers and sisters, but effectively I'm an only child because mum, dad and mum only had me together, and they both had separate kids, like not without me, they on their own accord. And my mum and dad split up when I was like 1 or 2 or something like that. So I was brought up by my mum primarily, although my mum was like and props to her still, like she's a recovering addict, so she was going through a lot of stuff when I was like growing up, so I kind of looked after myself, if you like, or my auntie was like more my mum figure, but I'd say that most of my like talks and guidance came from my dad, like the person I talk about school with and my friends and stuff like that would probably be from my dad. So I don't know, I would say that like it's been quite a solitary, not in a sad way, but like I've always kind of grown up like on my own and chosen, and I think I've had choice in the adults that I learn from, like because my dad wasn't around for the earlier part of my life, and when he was again, my mum she'd never ever stopped me from seeing him, and gave me the option of seeing him if I wanted to, and I was like, yeah. And he's actually pretty jokes. He's a hard guy not to like. I can see the appeal. He's a jokes guy. So, and he would always like,
to some really wise things he's told me over the years. And then similarly with my auntie, I just really liked her and respect. She's the one who does Whirligig. And just saw her as a role model. My childminder, big up Rita. Rita was an absolute G. Like, I mean, yeah, hopefully she's still with us. She was quite old when I used to go to her. But she used to, like, the maddest thing ever, she used to give me money on the sly. Like, obviously my mom would give her cash when she comes to pick me up, and then she like, take this 20, take this 20. I'd be like, okay. Like, she was like, she definitely used to facilitate me skiving off school, because I used to like, it's like in primary school, I'd be like, I feel sick, I go to the nurse's office, and they'd be like, oh well, we need to call your childminder. And then I'd be on the phone to her and like, Rita, please, can I just come to yours, please? I just really, I just feel a bit sick. She knows I'm not sick. And then she'd come get me, and it's like, right, well, I've just started Jeremy Kyle, so we're going to go over, we're going to get some biscuits, and we're going to watch Jeremy Kyle. And then, like, we'd just be there watching Jeremy Kyle and just,
you're
like...
committed to the skiving, because Jeremy Kyle was on at like 10 a.m. So
yes.
Like, you're in for an hour and you're like, bun this, I'm out of here. I'm going straight to Rita's for a pack of biscuits and chill day. And
she'd bitch about the other kids with me. She'd be like, which I found like, I used to love it. She'd be like, yeah, like, they're so not well behaved. Nothing, they've got nothing on you, Marley. Like, she was definitely my second mum for a while. Rita she was a G. She's a legend. But yeah, I had a lot of choice in who I hung out with and who I wanted to learn from when I was growing up. So yeah.
I was an only child too for most of my childhood, and so my girlfriend often says that, "Oh, you're such an only child." Like, if I'm pondering some decision or I'm being selfish in some way, she's always like, "Oh, that's such an only child thing," because you kind of. I do have siblings now, but they didn't come half siblings. I didn't have them until I was like 12.
Okay,
so like,
it's way too late.
And I had cousins, but they went home, or like, and that was always a laugh as well, because I was the oldest one. I've always been the oldest one in the family, and like my mum's friends' kids as well. So I could be the oldest and the only child. So I was always, a bit spoiled or a bit like getting my way kind of thing. And from time to time that still happens, and I get called out on that a lot.
Are you good at sharing?
Sometimes I try to share.
See, this is my thing as well. So like,
depends what it is.
I don't mind controlled sharing. I can't be about this whole frivolous, like, you just take my stuff and then I just get over it. Like, no, that was mine. Those are like my biscuits that I put for myself. If I go in with the thought of sharing, I'll buy a bigger pack of biscuits, and these are sharing biscuits meant for all of us.
Yeah, I feel that.
But I feel like I make a lot of effort by sharing things that I'm willing to share, and I will share them all the time. But then I have particular things where I'm like, that's mine. that is mine. Or like, and it always happens like times when I'm like dating someone or whatever, and like, okay, a great example would be like, you're having a date, you've had dinner, you're gonna have dessert. But I'll be like, I always want dessert. That's just a fun fact. I'd be like, do you want a dessert? And be like, no, I don't want dessert. Well, I'm going to get dessert. Are you sure you don't want a dessert?
You're not having any of mine.
Yeah, and then I'm like, yeah, because you're not. And they're like, no, I don't want any. No, trust me, no. But we just need to. And then every single time my dessert comes out, I'm eating it, and they're like, oh, can I have it? I'm like, no, you can't have any of mine. Like, I would have even bought your dessert. At any cost, this is mine. And then they go all funny like, oh, what, you can't share, oh, you can't. It's like, no, because mentally I'm ready to eat this whole thing.
This is for me.
Yeah, it's for me.
Like Gavin and Stacey when they're talking about ordering a curry for the table and everyone dip in, and I think it's Smithy and Nessa, that might even be where they fall in love with each other, I don't know, but they're like, nah, that's not how it works. I'm ordering a dish for me. And I'm gonna have that. I'm not having none of this sharing. That's why I hate tapas. Maybe it comes back to my only childness. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, tapas is just rubbish.
It's
anyway.
Stupid, isn't it?
It's
You're
just
never
rubbish.
full, and you spend like 70 quid.
Yeah, it's rubbish, and it's never great either.
Yeah.
It's never like, I wouldn't mind. I don't know. I haven't been to In fact, I went to one spot in Leeds, which is pretty good. It's actually all vegan as well, but it didn't taste like it. But generally, every other tapas, it's always tapas. People always do tapas for birthdays. So I don't know if you think that, and it really annoys me. But it's fine. It's not my birthday. Go to some stupid birthday tapas, spend like 70 quid, and have like tiny plates of really shit food. It's like really bad food.
Solo tapas, that might go hard. If you could get a few small plates, that could work.
Yeah, but it's more that like the quality doesn't. It's not like they've downsized and so the quality is like out of this world. It's like I went to one spot in Clifton and like you think Clifton's gonna be nice, but it's like it was just like all for the looks kind of vibe. It was just like
go on, name and shame.
I can't remember. It was just so terrible. I raised it out of my brain. I can't remember. I literally can't remember. But like it had like. I think it was like a little duck burger, and I was like, oh, a duck burger. And like also, I think the duck burger was like £12. I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be like a bit sizable. Like came
like a burger, yeah.
And it was like so small, like a little baby toy burger, and it was dry. It was just a dry toy burger.
No.
And I was like, why did I pay £12 for this? This is terrible. So I've never really been impressed by tapas.
Good, keep it that way. Spoons tried tapas, didn't they? And they're
Did
three
they?
plates for a tenner, but it's not really tapas. But that would be good if tapas was like that.
Yeah.
Like if it was like you get actual plate of food.
Or free for a tenner is good because
Yeah.
usually tapas is like 7-8 per.
But it was Spoons quality. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I reckon that still would have been better than this place that I went to, Clifton.
They still do it now. It's just like 15 quid, but it's like you can get like chips. Halloumi, but it's like an actual bowl of chips, It's not like if you get chips in a tapas restaurant or
weird.
patatas bravas as they call it.
Yeah,
it's just chips, but it's just in a potato form. Nah, I'm kidding. But it's you get like 4 potatoes. It's like that. It's not going to fill me up,
Yeah, no tapas.
Boo-hoo.
Goes in the bin.
So we've been chatting for over an hour now, so we'll wrap it up soon. But I wanted to, of course, talk about the label as much as you can. Say about the label. What is it? What's it called? What's it going to be about?
So yeah, the label I'm actually really excited about. It's called DVL. I can't even say it. DVL6 Recordings is the official name, or just DVL6 or Devil 6, depends on how you want to say it. I've left it open up to interpretation. The premise behind it is kind of bringing the Memphis rap phonk sound from where it was primarily in America, also Germany and France and stuff
Russia
like that.
Love that as well, don't
Yeah,
they?
Russia. But kind of like importing that sound and giving it kind of a UK twist. So it'll be like mainly rap songs, music, maybe some grime stuff. It's just, I guess, like it's hard. Like I've got like loads of demos, and I'm trying to describe it via the songs that I know that are coming out. But it's definitely like how I've just been saying about my DJing. Like it's definitely about the sound rather than the genre. So like the first one will be pretty trappy, dubsteppy, rappy. Then I've got like a Bailey one in the works.
A what?
Bailey funk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like speed garage one, like this 160 kind of like halftime-ish kind of beat. But I think the more consistent is getting like UK rappers to like vocal all of them. And I guess like there's some like long-term goals there, but just for now, just going to be releasing music, going to be doing a launch party as well in probably looking like October now. So yeah, it's like a lot of planning has gone into it. But yeah, quite a few people are behind it already. So I'm hoping to like actually, and again, like no discredit to anyone running a label, but like fully do it properly, and like by like year 3 I want to like be able to employ like a team of people, and be like internationally known, have an international kind of like reach. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's weird as well because like I've never really put this much money and time into a project. So and planning it for so long gives you time to get worried about it and be like, oh, maybe this isn't going to work. So it's the most nervous that I've been with like launching something, because usually like I just come up with an idea and I just get it done. Whereas this has been like a lot more thought out. So yeah.
Same with this. I had this idea a year ago and I bought all the stuff and then was like overthought it too much. I was trying to make it something, trying to do like a radio show podcast, and then it's just going to be a radio show, then it's going to be a radio station. You go through all these ideas, and then at the end I just thought, fuck it, it's just got to be simple. It's got to just be, let's just do it, and then it can evolve. Yeah,
and this is the thing, because
you can overplan and then just end up with nothing in the end.
Yeah, and like even when you asked me, like I was almost gonna like go into like the 3 to 5 year plan and like all these other things that are gonna like hopefully happen, but like definitely this past month has been like stripping back like this my brain and just being like, right, what am I doing first and what am I doing now, and like let me just park all those other ideas, because knowing me, I will get to them. But to do this the best that I want to do it, I need to just treat this as like I'm just a record label right now, just putting out music, not even gonna do, apart from the launch party, not gonna have any events in the first year. I just really want to like get that bit right,
nail the basics.
Yeah, and then we move on and do the next bit. And it's the first time. This is the most. I'm the least experienced in releasing music of all parts of the industry. Like running events, I've grown up around that. Like managing bars, obviously I do that. Or like artist liaison, artist management I've done. But actually publishing music and like doing sync deals, and like the amount of times I've read like the functionality of copyright, like so, and I'm not gonna lie, I still don't fully get it. I've got like a consultation with a lawyer in a couple of weeks just to like go over everything.
I'm gonna say that's why we pay lawyers.
Yeah, like it's just so, yeah, it's a lot more nitty bitty than I even thought it was before I started. And yeah, but now it's just a matter of like, well, if this is what it is, I've got to learn it. But yeah, so it's been a lot of learning, but it's been, it's exciting, because like it has been a bit of a challenge, but I think when you're only really making progress if you're being challenged. So yeah,
very exciting.
Watch this space.
Devil 6, you heard it here first. Probably you did hear it here first. Exciting. Can't wait to see what's coming, and I'll be at the party hopefully. Can't wait. Yeah. Okay. Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else you wanted to talk about or say, promote, get off your chest, ask me, anything?
I guess like, there was like a lot of options you gave me, so like.
Sorry, I overwhelmed you there.
I don't know, like just be a sound person, look after your mates, manners cost nothing, and yeah, just like if you're doing something, do it with intention, don't do it because you think it's cool, because someone told you to, or whatever, otherwise it's just not going to last that long, I guess. A question for you though would be like, of all the people that you've interviewed in any kind of setting, who's been the most, I don't know if you were allowed to out this, but who's been the most awkward?
Awkward.
In like a funny way.
In a funny way.
Yeah.
Let's think. I spoke to a guy recently called Jumper who was quite awkward, but it came across quite well, especially with some of the deeper dive stuff, because he probably wasn't really expecting it. I always like it when people don't really know too much about what I do. Like this is different. Like this is like kind of different vibe, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this, is to prove I can do different things as well. But when people don't really, they agree to an interview and maybe they've never actually watched the whole interview, they might have watched a clip, or maybe not even that, they just hear an interview and they go, yeah, whatever. And then like question one, I'm like, bang, like here's you know, a CD for you that from your favorite childhood artist or something, and they're like, hang on, what the fuck's going on? And then like the questions go on and they get more confused and maybe a bit awkward at first. Like Fleur D was also quite awkward.
Really?
I think as well, probably because he didn't really know what
to expect.
To expect. Again, he's Fleur D. He doesn't have time to be looking at my page and like researching what type of interview it's going to be. So like he warmed up a lot through it, but like when I first gave him I got him a DJ Like an MC Neat CD because that was his first ever gig. They booked him. And he was
really
just like,
research.
Yeah, like that's sick. Yeah, I love DJ Like an MC Neat. Yeah. And he was like, I was like, yeah, you know, you played for them the first set, and he was just like, yeah, like, fuck's this guy, you know. And then eventually, like, he warmed up to what was going on, which was good. He was a nice guy, though. Yeah, everyone's nice. Yeah, you'd be surprised, like, no. Because I think if people weren't nice or weren't the sort of person who would want to do an interview, they would just say no. Or maybe not say no, they might not even reply, or they might just say no, I don't really do interviews. Or I've reached out to some people and they've either aired me and it's got to a point where like if I've like, you know, on Instagram where you can ask a question like on a story, questions, and I was like, oh, like, do you want to do an interview and then some people like have responded to that and put like, nah, I don't do interviews, like. And I guess it's all part of their branding in a way, but they're a bit rude about it, which is fine because I'm anonymous in that, so it doesn't look bad on me. But those are the sort of people, like, it might be more awkward when I interview them, and they might be more rude, but they don't really want to do it. And there's a few people that are just still a bit of a dick, but it's fine, you know. They keep you on your toes. You know? You need a bit of dick spout. If they say that's a stupid question, and it's like, oh yeah, maybe it was. Let me reframe that quickly for you.
Yeah. Has someone actually said that to you? Like during an interview, like, that's a bad question?
Yeah, kind of. Well, he was just like, you answered the question in your question. And I was like, I kind of did. Okay. So then I was just like, okay, instead of how, why?
Okay. All right.
Because it was kind of, I was just
saying,
how did you, kind of. I might even have the question in this book. I can find the exact question that it was. We're almost done with this book. This is from Flying Tiger.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Right, I won't out the person who it was, but it was in an old book. But I basically said, how has being a hard worker helped you succeed, or something like that? And he was like,
oh, okay.
He was just like, well, because you've answered the question. It's like, oh yeah, well, why are you such a hard worker then? And then he went off. It was like, cool. But like, that's good. I like people that are not afraid to give a bit back. I kind of control the narrative really heavily in the other interviews, the other style, and it's very like, you know, you speak until it's time for me to ask the next question. And I don't always like it when people talk too much, because it's meant to be quite snappy and quick, which is also my fault. If I ask a question and they want to talk about it for 5 minutes, and that means it was a good question, but maybe it wasn't the right question to ask them when I want a snappy answer. But yeah, sometimes you have to try and interject and just like, next question. That was something I had to learn as well. Interjecting, but also if people are done speaking, I'd quite often say like a bit of a witty quip back and like add on to what they were saying, and then sometimes that would lead to more of a conversation about that thing, which is great for this. But when I want a quick fire stuff, I had to learn to kind of almost act like I'm not really listening to what they've said, and just like ask the next question. Like if you watch the news, right, which don't watch the news, but if you do watch the news and they have people on and they've got like a 1 minute interview, they like ask the questions. So they'll say, why is what happened today so important? And they'll say this, and they'll give this answer, and then they'll say, how did John's efforts help? They won't say anything about what they've just said. They'll just go bang with the next question. And I've learned just to do that, which takes people by surprise as well, because this is like, has he even listened to what I've just said? And it's like, I have, but I'm not here to respond. I'm just here to
ask the next question.
So that was a very long-winded answer to your question, but yeah, some people are awkward. You weren't awkward though. today or when we interviewed you? Because I thought you might have been, because you seemed like you might have been a bit shy, but you weren't actually.
What? But at Greenworks?
At Greenworks, yeah.
I guess because I'm just in work mode.
That's true.
Even the guy in the what's it called? Sunshine.
Yes,
Sun Ra
Cafe or something.
Yeah, big up Sun Ra. He was like, oh, you're smiling now. He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, when you're at work, you're at work. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm very much.
Did he come through to Greenworks?
Yeah, he did some food there once.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm very much even my closest friends, if I'm at work and you come to the bar, don't chat to me. I'm working. I think, yeah, in different scenarios, I can be different people. And sometimes, yeah, it's interesting because some people either think, if they've met me through work, they think oh, Marley's really serious and doesn't really say much. But then if you've met me watching Ivy Lab, absolutely singing my heart out at the front, do you know this song? I'm like, oh, she's super friendly. So yeah, there's many sides, but yeah, no, I've enjoyed chatting to you. Nice.
I guess to end quickly again, back to reverse your question, who's been maybe don't have to name names, but there were any artists that took you by surprise because they were either not very good, or when they performed, or maybe they weren't very nice to you, or they were just kind of not what you thought?
I've definitely had my brush up with artists in my time. I think I've been lucky in that everyone's always been good. Everyone's always put on a good show. I'm trying to think of one I don't mind naming. I mean, I guess I feel one which is just it's a bit, I don't know what the word is, basically Trim. Trim is
Trim.
Still one of my favorite, annoyingly good. He's a very, very good MC, but also a very odd character. That's as much as I can really say. He's just an odd guy. Knowing him now, I understand why he's been, because I've always thought why are you so no one knows about it, or you never get booked for anything, and now I know. Or him, he's same vibe, but I get on with Chrome Star, but Chrome Star is a jokes guy, funny character definitely, but I could see how certain people might not know how to handle that kind of thing. Trim, it did get a little bit rude. We sorted it out. We've seen each other since. I think, and that's the thing as well, most of the problems I've had have been with older men who, I was saying earlier, I think when I'm in the power position and I'm saying this is what you need to do, or this is not happening, or whatever, hearing that, and even when me and Trim were working together, it was when I was 18 or 19.
Wow.
So me telling him no to in his head, the grime, the godfather of grime, he's who is this you telling me what to do? And then I stand my ground, and then that kind of in turn makes them respect me way more, because they're oh no, she just knows her shit, she's she's on it, and we kind of can get past it that way. But yeah, it's mainly people, you said, people are generally pretty nice. Maybe some people have some annoying requests, rider requests I've had, but nothing too crazy.
Nothing we can't handle.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for chatting.
No worries.
Appreciate you coming through. This has been Cotched. We've been Cotched. Is it Cotched? Is it coming?
It is really I kept putting my head back.
Well, I saw you doing it, and I was oh, that is
yeah,
nice, actually. But
it
I was
is.
I better not do
yeah,
that.
No.
The host,
I'm probably gonna watch it back and be why do you look like you're about to go to sleep?
Nodding off on the podcast.
It's just
the
really
Nodcast.
There you go. That's a side series.
Yes. Well, cheerio.